name is Mojire, and welcome to I Love Mojire. I have an announcement. I published my first novella, and it's called If You Will Have Me. You Will Have Me is a story of Faith who desperately needed like a vacation, and then her mom, who is also her boss, forces her to go on a blind date with the promise of approving her vacation. So she goes on this blind date, and the blind date turns out to be a pastor. Her dad used to be a pastor, and then something tragic happened. The story unfolds from there. I'm very happy writing the book. I love it. And let me tell you, just between me and you, I feel like the story is giving Francine Rivers meets Emily Henry. Don't quote me anywhere, but yeah, I'm so excited. If you haven't read it, if you haven't bought it, you can buy it now on Amazon, on Apple Books, and Kobo. So let's get into why you clicked on this video, which is talking about all the books I've read here or so far. If you watched my last video talking about all the books I read in 2024, the last book I read in the year is the part one of the series Mark of a Lion by Francine Rivers, and I finished part one, which is A Voice in the Wind, in December, but then I finished part two, An Echo in Darkness, in January, and it was such a beautiful way to start the year because it's to like recharge my faith, and it taught me a lot about like the church history. So I can't talk much about the book because obviously I talked a bit about it in part one, and talking about the second part is going to spoil it. So we're just gonna skip over to the next book I read. And let me tell you, I want to gush a little bit about Valerie McFarlane because I think I've found my new favorite romance author. She just writes really good stories. I always say I love the balance of love, of twinning, all cute stuff with like emotional depth. She just writes really, really good stories. So Between Us is the story of Rosine, who's like long-term boyfriend is a screenwriter. They go on like a weekend getaway, and then it's also coincidentally the premiere of his new series, right? And then they watch the series, and then she notices that something he used in the screenplay is the replica of a story of her childhood that she told him in confidence. And then this opens a can worm of things and secrets. I'm like, okay, do I really know this person? It's like a nice chick flick, just like the perfect thing for me. Like, I just love this so much. I see myself reading all my Valerie McFarlane books this year. The next book I read is Happy Place by Emily Henry, and let me admit that it's one of the best books I've read. Like, I love it so much. It's my favorite Emily Henry book, and by the way, I'm in stan right now. I love her. It was so good. It was just everything. I love the story of Wayne and Harriet, the second chance romance, and it was so beautifully written. It had so much depth, and it also kind of reads a little bit like literary fiction compared to other Emily Henry books. So if you're into that kind of thing, you would love it. Love it so much. I was in the Emily Henry groove, and I read People Will Meet on Vacation, and it's another book that I loved. And as much as I don't like friends to lovers trope, it almost convinced me. Emily Henry almost had me. It was so good. Like, it just felt like watching a movie. I loved all the travel talks. It made me really want to go on vacation and just travel with my best friend, who is also my husband. It was fun. I would definitely be recommending that. This next book is a book that I think it's one of the most beautiful writings I've read in recent times. It's called Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. And this book was so good. Oh gosh, I'm like having feels. Like, it was so good. It's like a coming of age. It's a literary fiction, and the characters were so beautifully written. My preference is to read books in first person, but it was written in third person, and there was even a part of it that was written in first person, and I just love the way she like switches the narrative. It's such a poetic, beautifully written book, and I feel like if I keep talking, I might spoil it. So I highly, 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 highly recommend. The next book I read after Tomorrow and Tomorrow is my own book, and I rate it 5 stars. Easily the best 5 stars, and it's the best book I read this year. It's so beautifully written. The comment I keep getting from my novella is that it reads like a movie, and I wasn't consciously thinking about it because, you know what, let me give you a little bit of backstory. I was supposed to write a flash fiction for my Substack. Speaking of my Substack, if you're not subscribed, what are you doing? What are you doing? So please subscribe to my Substack. So what I was saying is that I was supposed to write a flash fiction, like maybe like 2,500 words for my Substack. And then I started this story, and I just kept going. I just kept going. And I think I got to like 16,000 words, and I told my husband was like, yeah, I should definitely publish this on Amazon. And that's how it came. I wrote like 80% of the book in a day because I just couldn't stop. Obviously, the editing took more. I just edited the first draft. Thankfully, I didn't have to rewrite it because it's also not long. And I really loved it. I read like a movie, it had everything. And I love that the story combines contemporary experiences, real life experiences. I'm not writing about perfect characters, but there's still elements of faith. So if you're a Christian or you just want faith-filled, clean romance, If You Will Have Me is the book for you. The next book I read is also by Mary McFarlane and it's called Mad About You and it was so good as well. I really loved it. I love the commentary. It's kind of a twist on like the Me Too movement. I'm not going to give too much details. Give me a billion Mary McFarlane books and I would read them. So let's talk about the rom-comers. I love this book. I really loved it. I've read Catherine Center before. I read Hello Stranger last year and I was expecting a rom-com, but I feel like it was just so beautiful. And if you look into the deeper meaning of the book, it was not just about the romance, it was more a commentary on love stories and how people look down on love stories. And that's so profound because now that I'm a romance author, I'm thinking about things in different ways. Because sometimes when you say, oh, your book is romance, people start giving you side eyes like love isn't good. Love is good. Like, what? Romance is life. I really love romance. If you go to my Instagram, follow me on Instagram at Mojire Alenajayi. I posted like my February dump and I had like 4 or 5 pages of like just quotes from this book. Like it's my most highlighted book this year, or in fact, my most highlighted book ever, I think, except Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. Love stories matter. And the most recent book I finished is called One Star Romance by Laura Hacking. And I love that it was a literary fiction. It was interesting. The writing is good and like it's easily a 5 stars. The only thing personally is that I feel like it was less about love and more about life, which I loved. I didn't really like the romance part of it, not because it wasn't written well, but because of the approach. Is personally just it's not like something I love. But in terms of like the commentary on the girl's life and everything, I really enjoyed that. And this is a nice author. I would be checking out some more of her books. Let me tell you, like every writer deserves 5 stars. Now that I've written my book, for you to, even if you publish a blank page, it takes audacity to write something and publish it. So every book is great. I'm currently reading Dream Counts by Chimamanda. Speaking of Dream Counts, I actually got an advanced copy. So as of time I'm recording this video, it is not yet published, but maybe by the time this video is up, it would have been published. So I'm currently reading this book. I'm really trying to finish it before it's published. Like it's 4 days to the release date, guys, and I'm trying to finish it. I'll probably make a dedicated video sharing my thoughts about it. So that's all for now.